Welcome to the Rocky Mount Area Chamber Buzz. Today's guest is Allison Sykes of Strategy Performance Business Solutions, and we've got a lot of great things to share with you today. Allison, we're so glad you joined us today.
I'm glad to be here.
And I have to say, you are a mentor and a role model for women in this community. And I hate to speak sex as male versus female, but historically there have been a lot of male role models because in the past men were, more in the management and leadership positions in a lot of companies. But when I first met you and learned that you had been in the corporate world and then formed your own business, I thought, good for you. I was proud of you and glad that you did that. And we're going to talk about the spirit of entrepreneurship in the Rocky Mount area because I think there are possibly a lot of people who have ideas and need to know the resources are here to help them go out on their own, and not necessarily on their own because there are a lot of groups, even like Women's Professional Network and Rocky Mount Business Builders, that do provide that friendship and that companionship to not feel alone. But let's start with the spirit of entrepreneurship in Rocky Mount. This city is known for that, isn't it?
Absolutely. And having been born and raised here and never left, I'm very passionate about all the opportunities that this community provides for those who are looking to start and or grow a business. And I know that we're going through a visioning process right now and everything in our community. And I've even mentioned to Charles Penny and to many other people, because many of you already know that our firm does a lot of marketing effort. And I have threatened many times to build a website, put a sign out by I-95 or a billboard that says that we're the home of the entrepreneurial spirit. Because I think there's a great marketing opportunity for us to really build upon those things that have already been accomplished here with many great organizations in the Rocky Mount, Twain County area.
Give some examples that people will recognize.
Well, we all know the most common ones for anyone who's ever lived here for any period of time, but obviously most people are familiar with our long banking history with People's Bank, Planters Bank, later merging to become RBC, and now PNC. But we also have, of course, another famous name, Hardee's, which is still here in the restaurant arena, and of course Body Noel, who helps manage a lot of the local restaurants here.
And are they not the largest franchisee for Hardee's? One of the largest in America. They're
one of the largest, yes. I don't know the exact number. Don't be misquoted there, but absolutely.
And such a stellar, homegrown entrepreneur, from Carlton Noel to the wonderful, having actually expanded into other. They own business. They have own property. They own different restaurants.
That's
and whatnot.
right. That's
done
right.
a great job.
Many more than Hardee's. They have Texas Steakhouses and also the
Carolina
Diner.
Cafe, the
Diner,
Highway
right.
Diner.
Highway Diner.
Speaking of which, people like the food at the Carlton House, the old Carlton House, a lot of the chef, I think, is the same at Highway Diner.
That's right. Everybody wanted to know where the pork chops went. The
Right.
famous Carlton House pork chops went to the diner. So you still see that up on the board, advertising the pork chops.
Another one is MBM that
That's
Warren
right.
Buffett
That's exactly
bought
right.
recently, but that started with JR Steakhouse. And expanded from there. So we're talking about some of the bigger ones, but they're also, whether it's E.L. Daltridge, was an entrepreneur and his son has carried on.
That's correct.
That, just many, many opportunities here.
That's right. And I think sometimes right now, of course, over the past few years, we've seen such a transition of people in their career, and that they may, like you mentioned earlier, may have had a long-term corporate opportunity with an organization, and then for whatever reason, whether it be downsizing or whatever it may have been, may have found themselves in a different career point in their life to say, do I want to step out on my own and do this? And while it can be a scary place to be, it can also be a very exciting place to be. So I know one of the great opportunities and one of the great joys I have personally is working with those people who are at that point in their life where sometimes they'll come to us and say, okay, talk me into this or talk me out of it. Am I doing the right thing, or am I making the right decisions? Have I got all the right information in front of me to make the right decision? And so that can be exciting and a little scary at the same time, but a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities are existing out there now, because not only because of the situation with the economy and the workforce transitions that we're seeing, but also just because of innovation. What customers are interested in purchasing and buying today is evolving, and it's different than it was even 6 months or a year ago, and how they make buying decisions and how they purchase things. To give you an example, service industries are much, much larger than they ever were in the past. I mean, if you had told my father that someone could make a viable business out of having people wash cars, you know,
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself, I know. So, I mean, but service industry, for example, has really expanded into a lot of different arenas.
And the busyness of people, I guess, has spawned a lot of that, because people they don't want food that they make, they want others to make it possible so they can take it home and just heat it up. But yeah, I'm seeing that crunch of time resulting, and I hadn't thought about it that way, but
that's right. My husband, my husband and I laugh sometimes because we both love to cook and enjoy it quite a bit, but rarely have time because of conflicting schedules and whatnot. And sometimes we'll say, okay, the magic question, what's for supper tonight? We're going to go out to eat or whatever. But no matter what the economy, some people just aren't going to have the time and effort to cook. So whether they go out and eat at a nice restaurant, or whether they just decide to pick up something quickly through a drive-through,
or the grocery store already prepared
that's
stuff.
right.
And go home
That's a good example. There's a lot of prepackaged, pre-prepared, heat up quickly meals
and healthy stuff too. I think we have more healthy options locally than we used to. Allison, you hit on something though. People will say, should I, talk me out of it, whatever. SCORE at the library is a very valuable resource, as well as some things that are available at our community colleges, right?
That's correct. And when we talk about business advisory services, you're looking at those that are paid and those that are unpaid. So there's a lot of opportunities for free advice and services that we direct people to often. And one of those is SCORE. They are a national organization with a local presence here in Rocky Mount. Many of you may be familiar with Mark Froman. He's very active in that organization. He's a local consultant. And they will give advice to anyone who's looking to start a business or already has a business, that they may have questions about a next step or decision they want to make, review a business plan. They have some really great tools and resources there for them to access, as well as the community colleges. Both Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson colleges, community colleges, have small business centers.
With a head who is often a retired business person.
That's correct.
And who has all this wonderful expertise and wants to get in there and help you be successful.
That's right. And the great thing about this is, there's no ulterior motive for them. I mean, they really truly want to be there and be an objective voice for you and be able to advise you accordingly and be able to give you that advice that you need. There's also a great number of seminars, as you know, and probably have seen on the Chamber website, relative to things that you can often attend for little or no cost to help grow your business as well.
And I think for Chamber members now, they're free. Unless there's food involved, then maybe you have to you pay for your food. But other than that, just the actual knowledge-based part is free.
Right. There you go.
And can't beat that price.
That's right.
But I've been to a number of them. Have you been to a number of the seminars that are offered at the community colleges?
I have been to a few, more so in the past. My company also offers similar developmental opportunities, and so, but as my schedule allows, every once in a while I will see one that I might be interested in, and I'll call, Fred or whoever it is that might have it going on.
Ed Ornsby and Fred Brooks.
Fred, right, and call them and ask about it. So.
Oh, and they are so approachable, folks. If you haven't met them, and they're Fred's at Nash Community College and Ed is at Edgecombe Community College, but they're begging for people to come and let them help them. So how good is that? And we need to take a break, and we'll continue this when we come back.
Okay, great.
Stay with us, please.
We are the past,
present,
and the future leadership of your Chamber of Commerce.
We are business members focusing on new beginnings, boldly creating our Twin Counties future.
members working toward broader thinking, community reinvestment, and public policy supporting strong business.
We are partnerships that create new beginnings.
We are business and community leaders working together for a better tomorrow.
And this is my town.
Thank you for staying with us, and we want to once again thank Roger G. Taylor and Associates, who is sponsoring this program. If you see Roger, tell him thank you. We certainly appreciate it. It's a great way. Allison Sykes, again, our guest. Roger avails this opportunity to share what the Chamber's doing to help people, not only its members, but other people throughout the Twin County area. So
And we appreciate it a lot, Roger. Thank you.
we certainly do. Let's talk more about starting businesses, about improving businesses, because I would think that a significant portion of your customer base, being in the business, is people who are saying, well, I want to get better. I know that I might not be in accessing social media that I need to help reach younger people, engage my customers. Let's talk about that a little bit. How do people, once they're up and running, how do they learn how to do that?
Well, I think an important thing to keep in mind as we talk about customer engagement is very different than marketing. And a lot of times the opportunity is there for you to take part in some of these, what a lot of people think is new tech tools. However, and they say, well, it doesn't cost us anything. But the challenge is, just because you have a Facebook page doesn't mean you have a social media strategy. So it's important to realize that you have a strategy behind the tool you're trying to use. They are fantastic ways to be able to reach people simply because, and I wish I had one close to me, your mobile phone. A lot of things that people would not sit down and look at until they got home at night and maybe got in their bedroom shoes or whatever and went in there and got on their computer, now they're looking at every few minutes on their phone like this. So when you really think about ways to engage customers now, it's not just about the fact that you're wanting to reach out and tell about your business. I use the example of a relationship. Every business owner I talk to says, oh yes, we want to have a wonderful relationship with our customers. But when you think about your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend, when you first wanted to try to introduce yourself to that person and you wanted to quote, win them over, so to speak, you didn't go up to them and say, I'm a really wonderful person. Let me tell you all about me and how great I am, because I really want you to like me. And
Or if you did, they said...
They'd run with their hair on fire and be like, oh my goodness, I don't want to be that person. It's really got to be obviously more customer focused. You want to learn a lot about what the customer needs. We try to do that very animately in our organization and have spent a lot of time doing that over the past year particularly.
Like what they click on, if you throw something up, and there are various opportunities to show interest by clicking on things, and then that you create some database. Because I know if I go on the internet and I click on something, then next thing I know, the ad that supports that is everywhere.
Right. And those are some highly technical ways of being able to do that, absolutely, but it doesn't even have to be that fancy. We even have smaller businesses who say, okay, I can't support that kind of technology. But even if it's just really listening to those things that you get feedback from customers about, whether or not they like to purchase a certain product a certain way, or maybe they would like to have what you offer, but maybe if it was packaged differently, or they could access it more conveniently another way, or at a different time of day, or in a different method. Those are things that are really important. That's your customer saying, I want to buy from you, but this is keeping me from doing it. So it's really important to listen to those kind of things and make sure that you're changing as much as you can and being innovative enough to meet the need of that customer. As many of us have heard many times now, success does not come to the strong, it comes to the swift. And by swift, I mean those people who are willing to keep a firm ear to the ground and listen for those things that your clients and customers want and be able to change accordingly.
And you have always told me as an employer, your employees do what you inspect, not what you expect.
That's correct.
And I have learned a great deal from your wisdom. But I do think people need to tap into support bases. And want to mention, you were on one other time talking about the Women's Professional Network.
Right.
And we both are members of the Rocky Mountain Business Builders, one of their 3 noon groups. And that's really important. I know when I taught school, I had a peer group, and
Right.
they were my buddies, and we shared strategies and whatnot. But it's lonesome being a business person, and being it, especially if one's the owner.
It can be.
And how do groups like that really help?
Well, I think those organizations help in a number of different ways. One, I think, as you already mentioned, is just really about friendships, professional friendships. When you are running a business and or even are an officer or employee in a business, your days are so busy and filled that oftentimes you lose that focus on just simply reconnecting with people and friendships. How many times have we seen somebody that says, "We need to get together. We haven't had lunch in this long," and I think
then you
that,
don't.
and you
again.
don't. You say that. That's right. And then 6 months later, you still haven't, and you see them again. So I think having a fixed time and opportunity to be able to connect with people is important. It's important for work-life balance. I mean, I coach a lot with executives around work-life balance, and while that is getting harder and harder now, particularly with the economic environment we've been in to manage work-life balance.
And explain how you would tell a person to do that, or what the balance needs to be.
Well, I mean, your balance in your life has to come from many different areas. We're going down a little bit of a different path here now, but I mean, not only do you need balance in relationships in your life, but you also need to have balance with your health needs, your family needs, your spiritual needs. I mean, your work needs, obviously. There's a lot of things. We have a graphic circle of how we balance all that out. And how that balance plays out is different for each individual person as to how their life is structured. But I think from the standpoint of these connection groups, it's really a great opportunity for you to be able to be in a room with people who have similar challenges, who are there to be able to support you, encourage you. Sometimes you may have something that comes up with in your life personally that it just helps you to have some friends to be able to be there for you. So it provides support not only at a business level, I think, but also at personal levels.
Allison, are you finding people such as I who don't want to have to change our marketing strategies, but are realizing that we will not engage the younger people in particular if we don't become more current, and need to seek the wise counsel of people such as you to help us make that step into more social media and different types of advertising?
Certainly. I mean, we come across people like that every day, but one interesting thing to realize is the largest demographic using social media right now are women ages 30 to 49. So this isn't about reaching young people. I mean, I heard you say that. It's not just young people using social media. There are a lot of grandmothers and everyone else who love to use social media. So you're reaching not only the younger target market, but a lot of people are using it now.
Well, we are about out of time, but the Chamber has always been a great supporter of you and what you do, and probably a good way for you to market what you do, and people can call the Chamber and learn more. You do, I think you do our webpage and emails now. Are you working with that?
Well, we do continue to help support the webpage needs. Some of that is transitioning with some of the new changes that are happening at the Chamber, but we have been very grateful for the opportunity to be a communications partner with the Chamber for many years, and I will continue to do so in the future. So,
absolutely, and call here, and people can link them to Fred and Ed at the community
That's
colleges,
right.
Score, all sorts of things. So,
That's right.
Allison, thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk
Same
to you.
here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you, and we'll see you next week.
We are the past.
Present.
and the future leadership of your Chamber of Commerce.
We are business members focusing on new beginnings, boldly creating our Twin Counties future.
Members working toward broader thinking, community reinvestment, and public policy supporting strong business.
We are partnerships that create new beginnings.
We are business and community leaders working together for a better tomorrow.
And this is my time.